I am motivated beyond belief. I am reconnected to my true self. I am living a life of control. I am a god in this reality. I radiate sex appeal and confidence. I maintain supreme impulse control. I am always calm and relaxed in all situations. Confidence is my true birthright. My features are legendary and desirable. I have bulletproof social confidence. I am capable of anything I set my mind to. I am proud of who I am and what I do. My willpower is always stronger than any temptation I encounter. I resist all temptations as they arise.
I do.
I take pride in the way I look. I am comfortable in who I am. My passion for life is alive and well. I release the past and focus only on what I am creating here and now. My dopamine stores are replenished more each day. Joy is returning to my life. I do what I must to achieve my goals. Every day I get more and more happier. My eyes are seductive and mesmerizing. My masculinity allows women to be more feminine when in my presence. Others see me as powerful and self-assured. I am dedicated to achieving my goals. I forgive and love myself, even if I encounter what is considered a failure. My goals are what is most important to me. People admire me for my strength of character. People are attracted to my positive and inviting energy. I let go of all cravings. My confidence is rock solid. I need no one's approval and do whatever I please. My voice is powerful and I speak with authority. My eye contact shows my confidence. Women are attracted to me each day. I am proud of my physique and appearance. I can lead any social interactions if I so please. I am irresistibly attractive. I am focused on what is important. I make daily progress towards my goals. I am growing for the better. All women are just naturally attracted to my charisma. All women can feel my sexual energy when they are near me. All desire for old habits is gone. I am free. I hold myself to the highest level of excellence. I can and will improve. I succeed because of my self-discipline. I choose high energy and affirm my success in life. I succeed because of my self-discipline. I choose high energy and affirm my success in life. I am living a life free of temptation. Sexual control is my true force of strength. My energy is vibrating with energy and inner power. I am motivated beyond belief. I am reconnected to my true self. I am living a life of control. I am a god in this reality. I radiate sex appeal and confidence. I maintain supreme impulse control. I am always calm and relaxed in all situations. Confidence is my true birthright. My features are legendary and desirable. I have bulletproof social confidence. I am capable of anything I set my mind to. I am proud of who I am and what I do. My willpower is always stronger than any temptation I encounter. I resist all temptations as they arise. I take pride in the way I look. I am comfortable in who I am. My passion for life is alive and well. I release the past and focus only on what I am creating here and now.
Let's go.
My dopamine stores are replenished more each day. Joy is returning to my life. I do what I must to achieve my goals. Every day I get more and more happier. My eyes are seductive and mesmerizing. My mask.
God needs to be reawakened within man. He was born with power and wisdom, with a powerful spirit and fears no one. But his uncontrolled desire for pleasure got the best of him.
Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. Changed.
But I'm the best ever.
Welcome to Man's Superpower. Feel your power, bro. Woo! Welcome to Man's Superpower. feel your power, bro. Let's go. Ma. I am in the house. 1 second. Let's go. Woo! Who is in the house? Any regulars in the house tonight? Welcome. Tonight is a special edition that we are starting brand new. Live coaching sessions. The number is on the screen. You can call at any time. Our topic tonight is relapse prevention. We talk a lot about post-relapse problems. Every guy on this journey has spent too much time talking about the relapse he had, or he has had, or he just had. But rarely have I heard a guy, or if any time, have I heard a guy talk about relapse prevention that is in the future. Because we know it's coming. Oh, one thing that is sure on this journey is you will continue relapsing. Oh yeah, it will happen. It's coming. You're either just relapsed or just coming out of a relapse, or you're on your way to a relapse. So I haven't heard anybody talk about relapse prevention. I've heard a lot of conversations about the pain of having relapse, the drag, the refractory period, the self-hate, the self-loathing, the issues that happen afterwards. Well, then what about the future? Or could we have prevented that from happening? Or what have we learned so that we avoid a relapse in the future? Where this is not a mystery. I mean, I've gotten this thing down to a science. It's not a mystery. So, welcome to this edition of Relapse Prevention. And tonight, the subtopic that we will be discussing is sit with your emotions to heal and they will vanish. That is very important in the conversation on relapse prevention. It's very important to talk about emotions because urges are nothing but built up strong negative emotions and tensions in you that are translated in what we call horniness. That's what urges are. Urges are not just some random, mysterious type of thing. No, urges, what we call urges, are really stress in the body, pain in the body, repressed emotions in the body, self-hate in the body, lack of self-confidence in the body, negative self-image in the body, low self-esteem in the body, repressed fears, repressed childhood traumas in the body. Those energies congregate. They get so strong whenever your body experiences high levels of energy. If you didn't know, your reproductive system translate that as the state we call horniness. And now they want a release of that energy. That's why you feel, I've been set free from those pent up emotions. So when we break that down, then we realize, okay, well, a good part or the majority of what leads to urges are unresolved emotions, negative emotions, repressed negative emotions and negative feelings that you've been running away from all your life. Remember, I always say, and it's my philosophy, that addictions are more about escapism than they are about anything else. They are not about enjoyment, definitely not. They're not about anything else. They are about escapism. Instead of sitting down and facing your problems, you escape into that world with that addiction. Instead of facing that emotion that you're feeling, instead of exploring that emotion so that it can teach you what's going on in your life, you escape by going and logging in and watching flicks for 3-4 hours. That's all it is, really. Just the same thing for the smoker, the same thing for the overeater, the same thing for the gambler. If you understand, in the moment when you are acting out your addiction, there is unconsciousness going on. You are no longer present. Your subconscious mind takes over. Your animal primal nature takes over. you have escaped. Because pain is felt in the conscious part of our being, not the unconscious part. I hope you know that, right? Pain is, you feel pain. Your subconscious mind does not feel pain. Your primal nature does not feel pain. The conscious part of you, which is the 5% part of you, the decision maker, the one that says, I will, the one that says, I am, I want to do this. The I in you, which is the 5% of your being, is what feels pain. And so when you feel pain, when you feel these emotions, you escape. Because when you're watching TV, for example, or when you're watching those flicks on the hub, for example, you're not present. You know that. You know you're not present. Whether you lay down, whether you sit up with your phone or with your computer, you know you're not present. That's why so much time has gone by. You don't realize it. That's why so many guys have gained weight on this practice, because as they're watching flicks, they're also munching on something else. The same thing for watching television. No offense to anybody who watches television, but I don't. The last time I owned the television was in 2004. And so the same thing happens. It's unconscious eating. Because if you were present and if you were doing this thing consciously, you would not do it. So a good part of the recovery process of this journey is what? Making yourself present. Well, how do you make yourself present? By dealing with and healing your negative emotions, your repressed feelings and emotions, so that they don't surge up to overwhelm you. So then you get to experience longer periods of consciousness, of mindfulness, of awareness. And in that state, you are in a better state to make a good judgment call. You can hear the urge, you can see the picture out there, you can feel the emotion, but you're so much clearer now, you're so much more aware now and present and mindful that you can get to decide, I'm going to stop right now. If you were in the public place, you're like, nah, I'm going home. If you were home, you're like, nah, I need to leave the house right now. Because now you can decide because you're mindful enough. One particular thing that happens on this journey is at the beginning stage, when a man begins to realize that PMO is a problem in his life, he comes to the sudden realization that, or epiphany, I have not been aware that I have been doing this thing. So basically, the guy is saying, for the past 10, 15 years, in my case, 23 years, I have not been aware that I've been practicing these self-destructive habits. I know I do it, but I am not quite present with it. I am not quite present about it. I'm not mindful about it. And so a good part of recovery is becoming more mindful, more present, so that you can deal with the unforeseen events that would otherwise turn themselves into triggers, and now you're in control. And one way, or one sure way, or if not, or if this part does not account for 80%, I don't know what does, emotional healing, sitting with your emotions, facing your emotions, healing your wounds, looking at yourself, accounts for about 80% of what's necessary to do on this journey to recover, or at least to have the power to say no at times. And so I have a couple of videos, but I have this one particular video that's called The 3 Crucial Stages of SR. The 3 Crucial Stages of SR, where I talked about in my work, in my own personal journey, and in the guys that I've talked to, whether it's a free consultations or paid coaching, I've realized that there are 3 main stages that a guy experiences on this journey, right? The first stage is what I call the butterfly stage. What's up, fellas? It's good to see you in the house, man. So the first stage, or stage 1, is what I call the butterfly stage. The butterfly stage is when a guy first comes across SR. He heard about it. He watched some videos on it. He's read some articles, and he's fired up. He's feeling the butterflies in his belly. He's like, man, I can't believe these guys are saying this practice, if I engage in it, is going to deliver so many results. Man, I can't wait. I'm fired up. It should have been 5 days later, but it's still day one. Man, I can't believe that. I want to try that. But of course, the first part is the disbelief. I don't think so. Then it's like, I think so, because so many guys are saying it. So the guy is excited to have discovered SR. He's excited of all the benefits that he's heard being talked about that SR will deliver to him. And he goes crazy. I got to do this. I got to do this. I want to do it. And then he begins to do it for sure. And he experiences crazy levels of energy that he's ever experienced in his life. Clarity, brain fog has begun to subside. His level of confidence has begun to rise. His self-esteem, his self-image begin to take shape. And now he's feeling on top of the world. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm only discovering this practice now. I can't believe all my life I've been wasting my life force. I've been wasting my essence. And these guys have been enjoying this wonder. You know, if he comes to my show and he's like, man, this is David Feel the Power Hughes. David, I've got the power Hughes. You guys have nicknamed me like all of these nicknames, right? So he's like, this guy is on fire. Oh my God, I can't believe every video demonstrates raw vigor and power and energy and presence and dynamism. And so he's enjoying that. He's still in stage one. He's still in the butterfly stage. Woo, he's having a ball. I'm telling you, he's letting his friends know that he's doing something new. Life is good. You should see his social media posts. It's all about, I've got the power. I am the man now. All is well. Woo, I'm happy. And he begins to go into nature. He begins to explore things that otherwise he didn't used to be interested in. Now he goes hiking, spends time at the park. He even begins to assert himself. Oh yeah, life is good, beautiful. But then here's what happens. When he first researched, or when he first came across SR, our beautiful practice, our wonderful practice, he was sold a dream as a package, but he didn't know what was inside the package. He was told all of these beautiful things are waiting to happen for you, bro. Get on the program. Go ahead and do it, man. I'm telling you, I am the man now. That's the result. That's stage 3. But he wasn't told anything about the process. The process. He didn't learn anything about the process. Matter of fact, he was so excited that if he even came across any video that details the process, man, he gets out of that. He wants to hear the benefits, which is the last stage, stage 3. And so one day he wakes up to his shocking realization. He feels lethargic again. He feels out of touch again. But he's confused because he's like, I have not been on the hub. I have not played with my wee-wee. I have not released. I have all my essence in. What's going on? I'm 22 days in, and this life is good, but what's coming over me? And suddenly too, he begins to experience negative thoughts. Negative emotions begin to surge. Pictures and memories, sad pictures and memories of his childhood began to surge up. He began to hear his mama's voice who mistreated him when he was a child. Now he's getting angry because he had not heard those voices for so long, or he had run away from those voices for so long. Pictures of his father telling him off that he will never amount to anything began to surge up into his consciousness. Now he begins to get really mad because for years he has repressed and pushed down and pushed aside, or so he thought, those images and bad memories of his father mistreating him. Or that's if his parents were in his life period. All of a sudden, he begins to feel the pain of not having been raised by his parents. He's like, man, I thought I resolved that. I thought I had gotten away with these feelings. They're coming back. What's going on? These guys were lying on YouTube because they were telling me I was going to experience happiness and joy and dynamism and energy, unlimited energy, which I did up to this point, up to this month, up to this week. What's going on? Welcome to stage number 2. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. And so we're going to go and spend the majority of time on stage number 2, because stage number 2 is the process. It's the process to the promised land. It's the Red Sea to the promised land. It's also the wilderness where the people of Israel, if you understand mythical stories of the Holy Bible, that's what the children of Israel spent 40 years turning around, being confused when they were on a journey that could have been 7 days, but they spent 40 years in confusion, in the emotional labor stage, which is stage number 2, which is the process before the promised land. Bro, you cannot take possession of the promised land like that. You cannot take possession of the Holy Grail like that. You cannot receive the scepter of power like that. You cannot jump from stage 1 to stage 3. You cannot. You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to face your demons. You're going to have to fight the dragon. You're going to have to fight your dark side. You're going to have to meet your self-limiting beliefs. You're going to have to meet your self-destruction tendencies. You're going to have to meet your self-sabotaging tendencies first before you can enjoy the promised land. Let's talk about stage number 2, the emotional labor stage. We will spend much time on that, because it is the process. It is the way to the promised land. It is the way you receive the scepter of power. It is the way that you will be empowered to be able to stand or sit. I'm sitting right now, and to do what I'm doing and to feel the way that I feel. And all the men who've been on my platform. Last week I had Boss at Home, and last night I had Ambition Matters. Beautiful sessions, very informative, very powerful, dynamic. These guys have gone through the second stage, the emotional labor stage. And now they have experienced, or they are experiencing, a level of freedom, a level of personal empowerment, because they have cleared their emotions. They have faced their demons. Welcome to your life. Welcome to Man's Superpower.
I appreciate the man's superpower.
Man's superpower.
The man's superpower.
Man's superpower. Bless. Man's superpower.
David, let's go. Get after your goals. Make that money today. Let's go. Man, I owe you the world right now, dude. Like, I think your services are way undervalued.
The most interesting man in the world.
This is a crazy ass testimony. Oh, David, let's go.
Man's superpower.
My brother Merca. Merca, I think I owe you. I don't owe you an apology. We were DMing on what is it? Instagram. And give me a second. And I went to do some other things in the midst. NB, what up? We're NB. Let's do this, bro. Jump on the call. Call this number. Come talk about it. That's one of your favorite topics, I know. NB was my client for a long time. We're still in touch. We still talk. We still text back and forth. And this man is very knowledgeable. He's been on the show. He's been on the camera, I think twice, NB, right? You've been on the camera twice. NB is super intelligent, very knowledgeable in metaphysics, spiritual understanding. And yes, he is particularly well versed with the working of the subconscious mind and the works of Carl Jung, particularly. And that's very beautiful, actually, to have met him and spent time with him and talked with him and worked with him. So NB, if you're still in the house, man, ring the number and let's go. Come talk about it. Come talk about your favorite topics. You're one of your favorite topics. Let's do it. Who else is in the house? Any regulars in the house? Show yourself. Say hi. Let's do it. Who wants to call first? Or should I continue with the presentation and talk about stage number 2? I think I've received a super chat from my brother, none other. Ambition Matters. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you once again. NB2, appreciate you, my brother. Thank you. Woo, I am blessed. Philly Cheese says he will call. Whoever gets to the phone first, NB, I would really love to give you an opportunity I would really love for you to bless us. You have good understanding in this area. Like you said, it's one of your favorite topics. Thank you, NB. Thank you. I appreciate you too, man. Thank you, fellas. Woo, somebody's on the phone. I think it's Philly Cheese. There we go. Let's do it. Talk to us. What's up, brother? Hang on. Hold on. Hey, can you hear me now? Hey, bro, can you hear me now? Are you there? Philly Cheese. Okay. All right. Can you hear me? I'm not hearing you, bro. Call back. Let me hook up my phone in a different way. I'll be back, guys.
I appreciate the man's superpower.
Man's superpower.
The man's superpower.
Man's superpower. Bless.
Man's superpower.
So, David, let's go. Get after your goals. Make that money today. Let's go. Man, I owe you the world right now, dude. Like, I think your services are way undervalued.
The most interesting man in the world.
This is a crazy ass testimony. So, David, let's go.
Man's superpower.
What's up, bro? Can you hear me now? All right, hang on. Just hang on real quick. Let me do something else, okay? Maybe the Bluetooth is not working, so let me plug it old school. All right, let's go once more. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Go one more time.
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly, baby.
All right. I think the rest can hear you because I can hear you also. Go for it, man. Talk to me.
What's up, man?
What it do?
Man, I just wanted to call, get some game real quick. Man, I relapsed today. I believe it was either once today or twice today. I think yesterday I did it twice. But see, I'm doing this so much, the brain fog is to where I can't even remember how many times I've done it in a day. But it's nothing too crazy. But probably 2 to 3 times a day. But most of the time it's once a day. But man, it's just like 1 minute I had the energy, and then it's like the next minute I feel lazy, and then I notice like after I relapse, I just I just start chasing dopamine like a
Right.
motherfucker.
Right.
Like I hit my weed, and then that usually is one of the things that always works. It's not that gives me the best hit, like the porn or the weed. But like if I'm not doing neither of those, I'll play the video game, just watch a lot of videos, a lot of motivational videos. Some some videos aren't the most positive.
You're
Some
yawning,
people,
bro. This is
so
a sure sign
yeah,
of it.
yeah. Sometimes sometimes I'm watching, music videos, rap videos, you know. So that might be a way that it could be programmed in my mind. I'm not eating. I know I gotta eat. It's a lot of stuff I'm not doing that I know I gotta do to do better on the journey. Man, it's just like I just feel like my energy is just like still like I'm just in a period right now, so where I just don't want to move. It's like I know I could become the best version. Like I was saying on the last call, like I kind of have a little bit of a blueprint to help me on my semen retention / spiritual journey. I know what I got to do to really reach higher levels of consciousness, and just become a better man.
Bro, thank you for calling in and sharing that with us. When we were texting this morning, like I told you, I was operating on missing information. When you told me that your energy, 1 minute you have the energy, the next minute you don't, and I said, well, it's not energy. Energy stays constant until it is used, until it is consumed, right? So when we have that understanding of energy, we can understand that, okay, if I felt good 10 minutes ago and now I'm not feeling good, well, it's either I have already consumed the energy that I had 10 minutes ago, or then it's not energy that we really are experiencing. It's rather a dopamine yo-yo. It's a dopamine seesaw. So maybe the activity you were doing in that moment provided so much dopamine hits that you felt good. And now that you've moved on to another activity that doesn't deliver as much or as many dopamine hits, now you're feeling somewhat lethargic, somewhat disconnected. And of course, you're going to equate that to a loss of energy. But see,
Right.
what I didn't ask you or what I didn't even think, maybe you just had a relapse and your energy is low. I mean, twice for today. It's even a miracle that you're on here talking. I'm telling you.
I've shoot. It's been people that's done it 50. Cause I'm pretty bad, but it's people that have done it like 70 times a day. It's people that
Of
I know
course.
you've heard the story about the guy that died from it. So I would say, you know, I'm bad, but I can't say I'm as bad as.
Mhm.
Well, I'm bad, but not as bad. Like I'm not doing it every hour. It's just like I'm just not productive.
Right.
You know?
And you're not. Go ahead. I think I'm losing you.
Oh, you're losing me?
Yeah, you're good now. Go ahead.
Okay. What I was saying was, yeah, it's like ever since what we were saying in the last call, it's like ever since I've been in my apartment and I've got a lot more free time to
That's
myself.
your
It's
second
just like
yawning.
it's just like I just been on just lazy on a more lazier tip. But I think that's, like I said, that's due to me relapsing. Because like I said, I've been on this journey before, but once, like I said, once I realized like me and my ex, we were like officially over, you know, after all the hooking up and stuff, which was pointless. You know, that really affected me. And like I said, that caused me to just I literally watched myself, observe myself become like
self-destruct.
go down a bad path. Yeah, go down a downward spiral. Like I literally felt the masculine energy. I felt all the benefits of semen retention. Well, most of the benefits. I literally felt, it's like you literally feeling your power, and you're knowingly doing it to an extent too. It's like you're feeling your power like go away from you. You just feel it get taken from you.
Well, your
I
particular,
feel it all.
you yawned twice, and that's a sure sign that your energy is low. NB, right? That's a sure sign that your energy is low. The amount of time you yawn, and of course, you're not yawning because you're hungry or tired. You're yawning because of the displaced or missing minerals and nutrients in your body. That's exactly so. So your body is going through a state of contraction. Your body is contracting, and in that contraction, you yawn. So that's what it is. A lot of yawning has nothing to do with tiredness or hunger. It's lack of energy. It's lack of subtle energy in your chakra system points, in your chakra stations. For lack of better words, actually no, these are great words.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, the chakra centers and energy stations, or power plants. And so, what your particular story is not too far from the subject tonight. It's actually right in the subject. Your girlfriend, you have mentioned your ex-girlfriend to me several times. You have mentioned when the relationship broke up, right? So obviously there is a healing that's necessary in this area, because that has been causing you to relapse. It's been destroying you. I myself in the past went through situations, romantic situations that is, where, man, as soon as the situation hit, I went straight for the computer. As soon as, I'm telling you, we all have been through it. Those of us who are more advanced on the journey have been through it. So let's take, for example, right, he was where I am. Everything is beautiful, at least the way that I know it, between me and my girl, right? Everything is nice. And she texted me last night, I need to have an adult conversation with you about the direction of this relationship. Okay. When would you like to have the conversation, tonight or some other time? She said, well, some other time. I said, okay, cool. Well, tell me whenever you need to. Now, of course.
You told her that, or she she told you that?
About the need to have a conversation.
Yeah, the need to have a conversation.
Oh no, she
about
told
the
me.
direction.
She told me. But what I'm saying is, for me, everything is good. Everything is beautiful between us, right? I mean, everything is nice. I'm not aware of anything that needs correction. I'm not aware of anything. But here's the point. In the past, I would not have even asked her when she wanted that conversation. I would have called her right away because the message would have shaken me that much, right? Emotionally,
Man,
I would have been
that's
shaken
yeah.
that much. I would have called her on the spot, although she's at work, and be like, what's going on? What's going on, baby? And you've heard that question all the time. What's up? What's going on? What do you need to talk to me about? I mean, I'm everything is good. So I would have been distraught. And if she said what she said, tonight is not a good night at work to talk. Let's talk some other time. That even that deferment to some other time would have put me in a very high emotional state. I would have relapsed. I would have PMO'd. And so several years later, on this journey, having done the work that I'm telling you right now, emotional management, sit with your emotions and they will disappear, healing yourself. And so when she said that, I'm aware that although I'm aware that everything is good, for her, there might have been some things that are not good that she wants to talk about. And that's okay. I am strong enough to deal with it. It's okay. I have room in my consciousness and in my emotional house to live my life. And guess what? She called during the live. She texted during the live. I was in the live. And no one can say that, okay, maybe he just received the bad news because his energy just changed. No, I finished the live the same way with the same energy last night. She texted about 45 minutes before I finished the live. I continued with the live. I did what I need to because that's my purpose. That's my work, right? I'm giving you an example where now my dealing with a woman no longer affects me in those negative ways. Because I have healed, I have sat with my emotions, I have looked into my emotions, I have unearthed a lot of self-hate and self-destructive tendencies and made peace with a lot of things in life. And so you need to work on these emotions. Obviously, you have some emotions associated with your ex-girlfriend that need to be worked on, made peace with, and because it's destroying you. And of course, you do that for self-love. If you do that, if you commit yourself to that kind of work, it will just be self-love. And first of all, let's talk about relationship dynamics, right? I know you're young. Your brain does not want to understand what I'm about to say. But one-itis, or perhaps you need to tap into Rollo Tomas's work, The Rational Male's work, right? Get his first book, The Rational Male Plan. One-itis.
Rational male, you said?
The rational male, THE, and then rational male, the rational male.
Rational male. Okay, I'm typing that in now on Google.
Yeah, just Google it, but leave it there and then give me back your attention. Just look it up, make contact, and give me back your attention. One-itis. When you're young like that, your brain is wired for one-itis. You found her, you liked her, you want to have her for the rest of your life. You're still thinking she was the one. Something happened, a mistake happened, when really it was just your turn with that woman. You're forever taking turns with women. You're forever taking turns until you die, but you will not understand that until you become more mature. But it's a fact of life. It's just your turn. And it's not your turn because she's a bad person. That's not what we're saying. We're saying it's your turn, just like it's your turn to drive this car. If you don't buy a brand new car, it's just your turn to drive this car now. Somebody else owned it and you're going to sell it again, right? You're going to get rid of it in the future. Even if the car is a brand new car, it's just your turn because you're going to trade it in sometime in the future and it's going to be somebody else's turn to drive that car. I know when we look at relationships from this perspective, rational perspective, it hurts some people. Unless your energy is high and unless you have converted yourself over to this level of rationality, it hurts because it feels as though we are robots. Somebody told me you have mechanized, a woman told me, oh, since you have mechanized sexuality, it seems like you have gotten this thing down into compartments and scientific notions. Who does that? You have taken the beauty out of relationships and sexuality, but that's not true. Men need rationality to live. And so you get that book and then look up the author, Rollo Tomasi. He has a big show. He goes live almost the whole week. I plug in. Like I always see in my work, I take my dose of my red pill dose daily. I do. I take my red pill, my RP, and SR dose daily from other creators. And so until
you watch other creators.
Yes, I have to stay inspired myself. Now, I do have a lot of inspiration for myself. I do have a lot of auto-generated inspirations for myself. I am a source of inspiration for myself, but I need to remain. Actually, the only way you can stay proficient in any path is to remain immersed in it. And I need to watch other creators. I need to hear what they're saying. Today, I was on Immortal Minds Live. I stayed the whole, I was there from the introduction all the way to the time he clicked off. And I was going to go live because he opened the line and two guys jumped on. I was going to actually join him and spend some time talking to him. But, and he had to end it. And so I have to remain immersed in it. And so
do you feel like there's ever been times where like you're like, okay, I've watched enough motivational content for the day. I don't wanna like, I don't wanna be, I guess, addicted to it. Do you feel like there's times where you just, because I feel like I watch it every day. Like I watch motivational videos every day. I watch Immortal Minds, but it's like now I'm to the point, I feel like my energy is so low to the point to where I could watch something and like I get motivated in a moment, but as soon as that video is off, I'm right back to what I was doing.
Yeah.
I know that's that's just me being me. That's me making that choice, but I've lost it.
Well, not necessarily. I think we all have had a comparable experience. You do have an idiosyncratic experience. That is everything that makes you you. Nobody can have the same two experiences the same way. However, more than 50% of the experiences are similar. What it sounds to me like, what it is your energy is low. That's what it is. So you watch the content mindlessly. Yes, your ears hear it, but you're not consciously processing it because your energy is low. Listen, if there is a devil on this journey, on this work, or in a man's life, it's low energy, low libido. It drains you, bro. It drains you. I told you what I have said in my work, and not that I've told you personally, I resent releasing. I resent it. I do. I resent it. It takes so much out of you. It lowers your bars so low. It disconnects you. It takes you from your center. Now you got to understand, if you're 5 years in and you've done a lot of the work, you really have explored these things scientifically. You know what it is. You've taken time to explore your own experience, my own experience, right? I have documented my own experience. So I am in touch with a good part of the differences, like even subtle difference. You're not the same, bro. Now, I'm not saying I don't release or I will never release. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I resent it. And so on the way to doing it, where I am now, this is where I am. This is where I am, please. This is my personal state. This is where I am now. This is my level now. You, according to where you are going to decide if you need to retain longer, right? And so I do my best to remain very high on energy. I make smoothies. I take multivitamins. I take ginseng. I take maca. I consume a lot of what is called what's the term for those fruits? It's fruits that stimulate your libido. That basically oranges,
Right. Mangoes and stuff.
mangoes, bananas, the berries, all the berries.
Right. Do you eat any almonds or nuts like
No.
pumpkin seeds, anything
My
like
blood
that?
type,
Okay.
I cannot eat nuts. I eat nuts, I get constipated, I'm out of whack, and my belly gets so big. I have a type.
I get what you're
I'm
saying.
positive type, O positive blood type, so I need to stay away from nuts. Nuts don't do good for my body, but red meat and meat, yes, I'm a carnivore by blood type. And so you got to tap into that wisdom to help you operate better. And so even flaxseed, I don't even eat flaxseed.
You don't even eat flaxseed.
I don't. I mean, I'm saying it's a small seed. You can actually put it in smoothie, but it will still mess up. I don't even eat. I can't eat broccoli. It messes me up like big time. And so don't even put it in my juice either. But let's give another somebody else the opportunity, maybe NB, to share with us some of his understanding of emotional healing. I know NB, for the past 7 to 8 months, right? You've been working on a lot of healing. We would like to hear some of the processes that you go through, which I know you do. Very beautiful. And so, Philly Cheese, thank you for calling. We appreciate you, bro.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Stay on the journey. Now, remember, check that book out. Get the book. Read the book. Plug into the real RP work. NB, you're on hold. Get that book. And get into the real RP so you can set yourself free when it comes to women, relationship dynamics, so you can be free and understanding that, look, man, I'm free. In fact, you should be celebrating that it's over between you and her. Text me later on that. Don't text me while I'm on live, because it's, text me later on that, on what I just said. You should be celebrating actually that it's over between you and her, because that gives you an opportunity to work on yourself. I think I may have said that to you before. It gives you an opportunity to tune in with yourself. It gives you an opportunity to wake up. It gives you an opportunity to tap into much better work. So rejoice, bro. And B, talk to us. Welcome, brother.
Hey, how's it going, man? Good to hear you.
Hey, it's going great, man. Thank you. Thanks for being on. Thank you for that super chat. I sent you that text, and here you are. Thank you for responding to that text. Also, Ambition Matters, thank you for being here. I think Boss at Home is here. All the guys that have text who are here, I appreciate you for being here. So, NB, the subject tonight is...
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay. So the discussion tonight is relapse prevention. Sit with your emotions and heal, or sit with your emotions and they will soon disappear. Take it away. Talk to us. What's your understanding of, what more than your understanding, your experience with emotional healing and in this process of sitting with it?
It's been a lifelong thing for me, to be honest, man. Like, because I was so out of touch with my emotions, my life, because I had a lot of what it comes from is, I think it's easier for men too. When we have an overwhelming amount of pain, we just push it away. You want to hide it or run from it. Like you said, we watch watching TV, porn, sugar, TV or whatever. It's to run away from the intensity of the pain.
Yes.
And the big part of it is just that nobody teaches you how to address your emotions, especially as a man. You know what I'm saying? You think if you have fear or sadness or anger, then something's wrong with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You must be less than, or you're out of control, or you're the only one who is this emotional. but you're not, and all that stuff is false. Like, you have those emotions in you for a reason. You're designed that way, and a lot of us dudes don't. I mean, women too, especially nowadays. Like, the women, they feel their emotions, but it's almost like we avoid our emotions too much.
Mm-hmm.
But women nowadays do the opposite of the spectrum. It's like they indulge them to the point of where it's just as imbalanced. You know, they go to the other end of the spectrum. You know, they're like, well, so you can do both. You can be too emotional, let them control you and control your behavior, but then you can also ignore them and push them down so much. But what you do when you run away from them is you're ignoring a natural function.
Mm.
And when you ignore that natural function that you were designed to have, it's going to happen whether you want it to or not. It's like taking a shit.
Mm-hmm.
You just hold it in, but eventually you're going to have to let it out. It's the same thing with emotions. And if you hold it in, you'll get sick.
Wow.
And yeah. And I mean, it's taking, like, I was to the point where back in the day, I remember when I first started my journey of kind of introspection, I wanted to come up with a martial art to fight my emotions because I thought there was something I needed to combat. Like, I need to get rid of this. So I was like, okay, I need to study this and learn how to fight them. You know, that's how deep it was. But that's abuse. That's self-abuse. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we learn that from the way we grow up. We learn to abuse ourselves. And by that self-abuse, what I mean is emotion. We emotionally abuse ourselves.
Right.
Because if you think of a child who has anybody who has needs and you just ignore them, you cover up what they're crying out for, your body and your psyche, your mind is crying out for something. That's why you have those emotions. So when you ignore them, it's just like neglecting a child. You're neglecting your inner woman, your feminine side. You're neglecting your inner child, and you're neglecting your higher self too, because your higher self can also speak through your emotions. So when you're on your path, when you're in your purpose, your higher self lets you know because you will feel it. You will feel fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? You'll feel motivated, and you'll feel meaning in your life. And when you don't feel that, your higher self is giving you a signal saying you're ignoring something. And it's painful, but we got to face them. You know what I'm saying? That through the shadow work, you got to face the ugly parts of you. Like you said, sit with them and they'll disappear.
Mm-hmm.
It's because when you sit with them, it's like if a child is crying, when you pick the child up and try to figure out what it is they're trying to tell you, eventually they'll stop crying because you meet the need. And sometimes the need is that attention. You need your own attention. Like, you need to know yourself and be there for yourself, have compassion on yourself. And sometimes if you don't do that for yourself, your mind and your emotions will cry out. Like, I need attention. I need care, compassion, attention. Attention is the biggest part. Some of it can be from past wounding, and some of it can be from current things, but the large bulk of it for addictive behaviors comes from old stuff, from childhood that you never figured out how to meet that need. And so always think of it like your emotions are like a river or ocean or whatever, just a body of water. And when the water is moving, you could see the surface change based on what's underneath, right? If there's a rock there, you see where the water goes around the rock. Those are emotions flowing.
Mm-hmm.
And the flow of your emotions are controlled by what you believe and your perceptions. So if you have really negative emotions, it's because deep, deep, deep down underneath that ocean, there's a rock or something in the way of the flow of your energy. And it's always a belief or a perception you have of the world. And what I'm gathered for myself, and I hear what other people say, and things that I've read, is with this Nofap thing, there's a lot of
keep going, NB.
It's self-rejection, self-contempt, self-hate. Sometimes we as we grow up, it's not on the surface. Like I said, it's not on the surface of the water. It's underneath. It's a big rock underneath, and it's changing the flow of your emotions, changing the flow of your life. big rocks, which are beliefs deep down inside your subconscious of I'm not good enough, or I'm not capable enough, or I'm not worth it. You know what I mean? Or I'm just not good enough. Yeah, those kind of beliefs deep inside, even though they may not be on the surface, those will lead us to do things that are self-destructive. And it takes away our motivation, because if you really believe you're worthy, you will do it. You know what I mean? And you can have conflicting beliefs. Like, part of you can believe you're worth, all this positive stuff, and the other part may not really believe it. And you have both of these inside you at the same time, and they're fighting each other. And that also takes away your energy, and that also creates tension. And you have to release that tension. It's because you've been fighting yourself all day. It's like having your foot on the gas and the brake. Part of you is like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna hit the gym, and the other part is like, man, even if I do it, it ain't gonna matter. I'm just not worth it. Something's wrong with me, or these women don't want me. I'm not what they want. I'm not a celebrity. I don't have all the money or I don't have anything special to impress everybody. And so you have two beliefs in your mind going two different directions, and it creates tension, and then that tension has to be released.
Yeah,
that's a big part. And it's all the emotional stuff is based on lies we tell ourselves, and a lot of times we get those lies from when we're very young, telling us all this negative shit about ourselves. And those lies, everything you believe shows up in your body. Like, every belief you have, like you were talking about the tension and the stress, everything you believe about yourself shows up in your body. Because let's say you believe I'm going to get my ass kicked if I say the wrong thing, right? Then at some level, you think it in your mind, but then, like, you'll tilt your head down and close your neck up a little bit. At some level, subconsciously, when you say, I need to shut up or not say anything, you're gonna change. You're gonna arch your back a little bit to be shy. You're gonna tilt your head down to be quiet, and your eyes are gonna move around because you believe you don't have the right to speak. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Or if you think, or the opposite, or if you think like, these people are out to get me, I need to be prepared to fight. Your whole body will start to, like, you'll tense up your abdomen.
That's
and
a
be
big
ready
one.
to fight.
That's a big
and
one.
you'll do it, and you don't realize it, but everyone else's beliefs stack on top of each other, so your body is being tensed in all these ways all day, your entire life.
Wow.
And that energy stresses you the fuck out.
I told y'all.
And you gotta release it.
I told y'all.
Every belief is in your mind and your body and your emotions.
Yeah. I always like hearing the way you break these things down. You do have a great understanding of them. So I know you've done, in the same line of emotional healing, I know you've done some childhood healing, some work where you've had to embrace the child within. I remember clearly where you've had to reparent that child in you. Talk to him, talk to that little boy. I remember many times you called me or you text me and telling me a story about a dream or a vision of you going into the past in your consciousness, whether it was an astral projection or not, and talking to the boy in you, meeting. I remember that one time you told me you had a dream where you met Lilo NB, and you talked to him, and you got a healing from that. Just give us a synopsis of that work, and that's going to help a guy on the journey.
Yeah, right now, the biggest thing I'm doing, there's this guy named Richard Grannon. He has a channel on YouTube, and he talks about codependency and narcissism and all, CPTSD, which is chronic PTSD. And, it's a type of it's fucking flight or flight mode if you learn from childhood. But basically, what he's having, one of his things is called emotional literacy. He has a course on it, and I'm taking that right now.
Mm.
And it's emotional literacy, how to read your emotions. And you take some time out and do some journaling exercises, and you basically learn what emotions are attached to what beliefs within yourself. And then there's a second part where you learn to reprogram, because your part of your brain is, you have your emotions and your childlike part.
Right.
And then there's a part of you that you get from your parents, is your super ego. They call it the super ego, but it's like your inner, all the lessons you learn from your parents and society. You kind of make rules in your head, and those rules kind of let you know what is right and wrong, what you should do and shouldn't do.
Right.
And when you have a negative super ego, you criticize yourself, and you give yourself, you're like you internalize that bad parent. Like if the parent was overly strict or overly critical or whatever, you internalize that, and then you repeat it to yourself all throughout your life subconsciously, and you use it as a guidance system, and you don't even realize it. So it teaches you how to reprogram that guidance system, so that when problems come, you come up with healthy solutions instead of addictions and
self-sabotaging ones.
Self-sabotage, because the funny thing is, everything we're doing is a solution to something. That addiction is a solution to a problem. Your brain came up with that because it's trying to solve a problem. Girls, you know what I mean? We and those are the solutions we come up with, and then those solutions have a price associated with them, a cost associated. But we can learn to look within and then come up with healthy solutions. But you have to understand why you came up with that negative solution in the first place, because you can't truly let it go until you truly understand why you're doing it and how it, and find out what's better. You know what I'm saying? Like you can only release it when you don't think you need it. You can't release the addiction because your psyche you think at some level you think you need it.
You need
it. You have to do that.
Right.
Because if you didn't think you had to do it, why would you do something that's so costly? It's because you just feel like you have to, and you don't feel like there's any other choice. So until you can see what the other choices are, and you can see how you don't have to do that, then you just keep going in a cycle. I'm saying this from experience, because I'm still on my journey. Like I'm not at level 3 yet. You know what I'm saying? Your question. What was the question again? I think
you've done some childhood healing work. Yeah. I know for sure.
Basically, I mean, well, I've used different methods, but really research shadow work, research inner child work. There's so many different modalities to do those things. I've used Richard Bannon stuff, and I've also used what's called path work. It is some stuff from the 60s where some people were meditating and they downloaded this information. And it's about facing your shadow, facing the negative part of yourself. And the truth of the matter is, it's the negative parts of ourselves, they're solutions we came up with. That's all it is. All our negativity are immature solutions. That's all they are. So, but I think when it comes to addiction and all this, there's a lot of self-condemnation and all that.
Right.
And we forget, like, these are just solutions we came up with when we didn't know any better and we were immature in a certain area. We were just weak in an area, underdeveloped. That's it.
Right.
Half of it is getting rid of the shame and the guilt, and you do that by learning to look at the negative stuff again, face the negativity without criticizing and shaming yourself. It's like looking at yourself with compassion, even while you're fapping, even while you're if you're having just a bunch of rage come up, still hold yourself with compassion.
Right.
Because all that stuff, it's like that's the little baby in you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't just, if the baby was suffering, you don't just turn away and say, "Oh, you little fucker, why don't you just do better?" You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because that's not gonna help. You just hold it and say, "I understand you're hurting. We have inner resource. I have inner resources in me. You know, ask your higher self to help you. You know, higher self, give me the strength to help me to understand this." And you look at the pain with compassion and just say, I want to understand. I want to know what's going on here. I refuse to put myself down because of this pain and just stay with the pain. Doing that over time. It's self-love. It really is, man. Like, we just don't learn. We learn how not to love ourselves. We don't learn how to love ourselves. We don't have good examples. That's in my opinion. The addiction is self-neglect, self-hatred, self-contempt, and but you can learn how to love yourself.
Right.
It's the most worthwhile thing to take time to do. So it's with the inner child stuff. I work with this program called Pathwork, and their big thing is learning how to face those negative parts of yourself. That, and then Richard Grandin's stuff. It's inner child work and what's called a reparenting.
Right.
Basically learning how to become your own parent.
Right. The parent that you didn't have, or that was
they were our example of how to love yourself. They were the example. So if they set a bad example, you never learn how to love yourself because you didn't have a good example.
Yeah. I love everything you just said. Of course, I know you have this understanding, and I know you have done the work. Everything that you said here is in the line of emotional healing. I'm telling you, bro. NB and I spent. There were days we spent 4 or 5 hours on the phone. We're talking about up to 2, 3 in the morning, because the conversation would get so deep in this area. Unless you unearth those negative emotions, those deeply repressed self-limiting beliefs. You heard the man say, we have built, actually they are coping mechanisms. We thought they were solutions of the way we should cope with life, but actually they turn around to be like snares for ourselves, and we keep getting into from bad situation to another. And we have to heal that inner child. We have to go in the past and get in touch with those early on situations that happen and make peace with them, heal them, and then make peace with them. Like right now, NB, I'm sure, I think you recently texted me that you feel freer, you feel less resentful towards certain areas of life. And that in itself gives you a peace of mind where even if an urge would come, you can fight it off because you're feeling so relaxed in your body. There is so much less tension. And when an urge comes, it's easier to fight it off because you're not overwhelmed. And this is the point where now your relapses are, your relapses now, the interval between your relapses increases. Where instead of an every day, every other day thing, now it's like every week or every week and a half and 2 weeks, because it would take a strong, a really overwhelming urge to knock you down, not just the small ones. And this is where now we can talk about self-deception and self-love, because there are degrees of urges. There is an urge that's not that strong, but if you haven't done the work, you can't even resist the smallest one, the weakest ones.
Well, I mean, like having a coach, it got the ball rolling because I kept trying by myself. But having a coach, it was like training wheels, really. It was almost like sometimes you do need training wheels, somebody just to help you out. Like when your dad's holding your bike to help you ride, and then he finally lets go.
Right.
Sometimes some guys just need that push to start their journey.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they just need somebody to hold the bike a little bit so they can keep, somebody to walk with them through it.
Yes.
And then they can continue going on.
I like that. I like these.
Whereas if they never had that person there, it would have been really hard to even get a good start, get some momentum going, That was just very helpful. I think now when I relapse too, because I'm working on my inner, those inner voices and beliefs about myself, I don't even have as much like self-condemnation. I still have some of those voices come every once in a while, but it's not like it used to be. Like it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to beat yourself up every time you fast.
Right.
And then hold everything over your head, like, I know it's not on everything. You don't. There's a way. It's still there's a way to express that same truth. The same truth that you don't really want to be doing this, and you can do better. You can express that in a way that's not self-condemning.
Right.
You don't have to condemn yourself. That's not because there's a part of you that thinks if you condemn yourself, it's kind of like a kick in the ass. Like if I talk to myself harsh enough, then maybe I'll fix myself. And that's just another expression of lack of self-love. Sometimes it can be. If you talk to yourself in a certain way, it's disrespectful, and you don't deserve to be talking to yourself like that. You just don't. You know what I'm saying? Like it's yeah, you just.
I think the I used to think to myself, well, most guys, well, if not every guy on the journey, early on before we come across Nofap and SR, we think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just leave this thing? Why can't I just drop it? And that's where the lack of self-love or self-hate becomes apparent. And of course, the illusion there is willpower is enough. And as we know, in my work, that's part of my philosophy. It's been researched. I've read several books, followed several psychotherapists, neuroscientists on willpower. Willpower is not enough. So saying, man, I should get it right. Why did I relapse? Or why do I keep watching that? The underlying belief is my willpower should be enough to help me to stop. And of course, willpower is not enough. What's enough? Putting in the work, taking time to sit with your emotions, taking time to unearth and evaluate and see, purchasing books, buying programs. I mean, NB, ever since I started working with you, even when we were working, you were still on a program, and now you just said you just signed on with somebody else. You were buying those books, you were following programs. You have to do the work. I have done the work. You have to spend time. And make no mistakes, guys, it does not take 3, 4, 5 months. It does take longer than that, but the result is so beautiful that it will be worth it if you do the work. NB, we appreciate you calling in. Appreciate you coming on after I text you. I appreciate that. And thank you for sharing your understanding. I'm sure you have helped some guy to gain a better understanding, because I'm not the one just saying it. That's been your experience. We had a coaching session for about 6 or 7 months, and you've gone on, like you said, that was training wheels for you, and you took off and you continue doing the work. When they get to hear it from you, it's a different perspective. It's like, okay, well, there are other guys out there that I've worked with or in the audience who've done the work or who are doing the work, and here's what they have to say. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Same here, dude. Like it's invigorating, man, to hear you speak about this stuff. And it's almost like an anger. It's almost like an anger, anger in a war, in a battlefield or something. And it's like, I hate to see other men believe that they ain't shit and just be destroyed by these negative beliefs. You know what I mean? It almost has like a righteous anger of just like, no, we're gonna kick this thing's ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that. Like, I don't want to see my brothers fall into this shit. It pisses me off. Yeah. Because I know what it's like to believe that about yourself. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. And for the ladies too, you know, they got their own little thing. I'm just now starting to understand, have more empathy, understand them too. But they got their own little journeys.
Yes,
but
they
for
do.
Men, this one specifically, it's like, it pisses me off. I don't want to see people treating themselves like shit. But anyway.
I like that, NB, because you've mentioned the ladies 3 times in your 26-minute call. So it tells me something. Yeah. It tells me where your mind is, because you did text me recently something. I'm not going to say something. You did text me something along that line. And so this is proof that, yes, you have gotten there, or you've done that particular work. And that's a good sign. Yeah, you mentioned the ladies, like the ladies' work is 3 times. I like that. That means you're keeping that healthy, dualistic perspective. It's not just men type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Which means you're not so deep into MGTOW.
God made them too, you know what I'm saying? And he made them the way they are for a reason.
Yes, sir.
Or whatever your vision of God is. I'm not a Christian either.
Oh yeah. We
And it's
understand.
like if it would be foolish for us to think that their way of being is something wrong because they're here. Like, why would God put them? Why would the universe let them here? And we all we're born of them, and somehow they're bad, but we're good, or they're good, but we're bad. That would make no sense.
Let's catch up again next Tuesday.
Right,
my plan is to continue the SR live coaching hotline every Tuesday. So I'll catch up with you again. You do have a lot of things to say. And see you next time. Go ahead, man.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you for the super chat once again. Tyler, go ahead and call.
David, let's go. Get after your goals. Make that money today. Let's go. Man, I owe you the world right now, dude. Like, I think your services are way undervalued.
The most interesting man in the world.
This is a crazy ass testimony. Oh, David, let's go.
Tyler, you're on. What's up, brother? Or if that's you.
David, my man, good to hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good to hear you too. Well, you've been hearing me. Good to hear you.
Yeah, I've been a long time following your channel, maybe from the start even. I don't know how I stumbled upon your material, but it's been shocking me. Your revelations, let's put it that way.
Interesting. I like that. Wow. So how, one question before we get into tonight's topic, the emotional labor, the emotional healing type of work, facing our shadow that we have to do on this journey. How has discovering my channel, doing the work, learning the concepts, the materials, how has that impacted you? Where were you when you started and where are you today?
Yeah, definitely. So there are a few philosophers that we've all talked about that have, discussed semen retention in general. And most of the topics are esoteric, like they don't cover entire guidelines or processes on how the work is done. Even when these people were living, like the time was different. Mm-hmm. Their priorities were different. Their writing styles were different. And so most of the material you can find today is not written for, the mass exposures that we're being exposed to. It's written in a different style. So I've studied a lot of different people. I've got a lot of different books that are just random, relating to sexual topics and sexual energy. Mm-hmm. And I've done that for a couple of years now. Maybe 5 years. I found your channel looking just into semen retention, and some of the things that you were saying were just breaking through the mold of my belief around the retention, and the way that you were holding it so dear to your heart and so dear to existence in the world. It felt to me that you were coming into some really, really deep contact with source. And so we can call that God, Logos, energy, Gaia, anything you want. But so when I heard you breaking and preaching, I knew I had to come back.
I like that, man. Thanks for being here. It's good to hear the testimony. It's good to hear the feedback. It's feedback, right? When we put a product in the market, and by product, we don't mean that there must be a monetary value or cost attached to it. It just means that, okay, it's a piece of creativity from a purpose. We must get feedback from the market, right? The market must say, yes, you have a good product. I have made a contact with it. It has touched me. It has changed my life. I remember 2017 was the first year of Nofap in SR, and I had a 2-bedroom apartment. One of the rooms were was an inspiration hall. On all the walls, I used to write stuff. One was a vision board, one was a life purpose type of wall. And I wrote on that wall, what problem or problems have I solved successfully for myself that I would like to solve for men around the world? And I also used to tell myself, the day that I recover, I am going to come back and work with my brothers, because there are so many men. The level of desperation that I've gone through in my life, bro, the suicidal thoughts, the chronic existential crises that I experienced, there's no way I would have healed and just stayed to myself. And it's good to hear the feedback that, in fact, 1.5 years later, I have, in fact, impacted some men's life. It makes my day all the time. So thank you for giving me that feedback. And that's one thing that I know too, Tyler. Here's one thing that I know. I know many men watch my videos, don't leave comments, they just like it and don't even leave a comment. Or they come on the live, they don't even talk. They stay quietly, because I do it too. So for example, Ambition Matters apparently have watched a lot of my videos, 3-hour long, 4-hour long lives. I don't remember a comment from him. And I was thinking to myself, this man has been consuming the content quietly until he began to make noise in the lives. And then, yes, last night he got to bless us with those 3 hours full of beautiful, nothing but revealing type of concepts and material and information. So I know those guys are out there. So when I have 5 comments on a video, I'm like, okay, 15 guys should have commented. And that encourages me, knowing that, okay, yeah, some guys are not going to comment. So thank you for that. So now let's talk about the topic tonight, relapse prevention. Prevention is in the future. You know, we're talking about a relapse in the future. And the subtopic is emotional healing. The second stage, of course, you're familiar with my work, is the emotional labor stage, the stage where you have to face your emotions, the demons in you, the dragon, so to speak, the proverbial dragon on the, if you want to use Joseph Campbell's hero's journey prototype. And so we have to face the dragon, right? We have to face our shadow side. How have you gone about doing this work? Anything you can share with us? Tyler, are you still here? Hey, bro, have I lost you?
Yeah, the shadow side.
Okay, I didn't hear you for a second.
Can you hear me?
No, I only heard the shadow side.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear us or me?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you?
Sorry, I put my headphones on. Yeah, I put my headphones on because my earbuds through the phone call, I can't hear you very well.
Okay, how about
like
now?
The words aren't coming clear.
Mm-hmm.
And so now there's a huge feedback.
Oh, really? With your headphones on?
Yeah. Yeah, let me put my earbuds back on when I'm answering you.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, I don't delve too much into the shadow, to be honest. I mean, the way that I live my life is really based around what I'm doing day to day and what I'm achieving day to day. My weaknesses sort of come right full front in my face. And so I've kind of gotten to the point where when I know I'm weak in an area, I know what I need to do already. And I don't know if you would characterize that as a building of character or a building of mindset, but I've had an array of life experiences that have just shown me ways that I don't want to be. And so now I'm at a moment of, exercising ways that I would like to be in, energies and frequencies that I would like to express to others. And you mentioned before that you really, really want to help people. And for me, like, I vibrate with that so much.
Right.
Like when I look at the youth, when I look into the eyes of like young gentlemen around me or young men around me, being parroted by their parents around, it can just stun me to the point of, like, I feel that these boys need role models. They need strength in their lives. They need a strong fist,
right?
To show them a direction, a strong voice. I feel like men are lacking parents, lacking fathers, lacking the authority to take back their own power, and women too.
Right.
All the gender dysphoria that's going on right now, for me, really illustrates that when men lose their power, women, only collapse onto that experience.
Correct. I
and
agree.
Begin to, pick up the fallen pieces. And so I feel like the moment that we're in, this world of heresy, is really about men and women trying to find out where we fit when, the gender roles are in flux. But with emotional intelligence, Boss said it best. You got to know how to control your emotions. It's about channeling them properly. There are certain emotions which are acceptable, and there are certain emotions which are completely unacceptable given any circumstance. So it's about identifying, is this emotion strengthening me or, destroying me? And what Ambition Matters said last night, kill what's killing you completely. I wholeheartedly believe that. And the person you want to be is behind your painful process. Like the man, the prideful person you are, who you truly are, is behind that next step, behind that next repetition. It's not about success. It's not about achieving. It's about falling in love with your effort. The outcome is irrelevant in a sense. As long as we're moving towards the goal that we want to achieve, that for me is where we find our power. Falling in love with the moment.
Interesting. Give us an example of an acceptable emotion and an unacceptable one.
You said acceptable emotion?
Yeah, you said some emotions are acceptable and some are unacceptable. So give us an example in each category.
Yeah, definitely. So, so I forgot who called in earlier and it said that he was feeling a loss for a breakup. At a young age, that's completely acceptable, to feel the loss of a loved one that you were deeply entwined with. And, he didn't go into detail of what his emotions entailed, but, that gut-wrenching feeling of loss and of, being forgotten, being paralyzed by, thrown to the side. In that moment, that's acceptable. Like, this is your first loss, or this is the first loss that meant something to you of that depth. So this emotion is telling you, in my opinion, it's showing you how deeply you can, at least within relationships, are mirrored experiences, whether the opposite party feels them as well. But I believe that, like, emotions are a frequency of vibration, and so when we feel that emotion, our partner feels that emotion, or the person that we're communicating with feels that emotion. So we're on the same frequency. We feel the same light.
Yes.
And the same spectrum.
Yes.
And so when you're in that heartbreak, they're feeling it too. But their loss is that they don't feel that that the relationship is what they want it to be. And so, in my opinion, the acceptable part of this emotion is that it's showing you, there is a lack of potential in who we are. And in this instance, women are here to test men. It doesn't take men long to understand that, like, our logical side shows us that the masculine and the feminine are divine opposites. They're magnetic opposites.
Magnetic
and so
opposites.
men, as men, we're here to, compete in a brotherly way with each other. We're here to raise each other up in a faithful way, in an honest way, and keep each other accountable. It's not about lying to each other. It's not about screwing another over. It's about taking the opportunity at hand and holding it to its fullest potential. Whereas women, they're flowers, they're petals. They are, waiting to embrace the strongest pollen. And so they're always filtering out the weaker pollen, and their intention is to maximize, their inherent frequency, their inherent purpose is to maximize the longevity of their offspring and the potential of their offspring. And so they're here to test, make sure that we're worthy of being with them. And so this loss that you're feeling, for a loved one, is showing you that she, in a way, does not approve. And that disapproval is showing you your potential. Like the pain is showing you who you could be. And so, I mean, we've all had extremely hard losses. Anyone who's over 20 years old or 25 years old, I imagine, has had maybe financial loss, love loss, business loss.
Right.
These losses are showing us who we are supposed to be, how we are, how we're being tested. And the test is life. Like this, we don't live in a complacent society of, immaculate bliss. We live in a chaotic, crazy world where we're tested daily, and our whole life is a test. And at the end, if God is judging us, maybe that's what these emotions are about. Maybe they're showing us that, hey, we really need to pay attention to this experience, because eventually it will matter. Eventually we will be judged. Eventually we will be tested. And at that ultimate test, on our deathbed, we want to be prepared, to go out valiantly.
Wow, Tyler, thank you for blessing us with these wise words. Actually, I do like the concept of our emotions being a test, or being not quite a judgment, but a test from God, or from the universe, or from it all. Because I remember in my journey, early on in my journey, man, I did not want to face my emotions. I did not, and I used to fear having to feel any emotion. Until, as NB alluded to, until I began to work with them, and I realized they are here to set me free. They are here to help me experience a better fullness of divinity or humanity even. We don't even have to talk about divinity. Humanity first, because unless you work with your emotions, you can't even feel yourself. So Tyler, thank you, bro. Appreciate you for calling. Thank you. Keep coming back to the channel. Thank you for actually making noise, making yourself known for the past two lives and tonight. Thank you for calling in and sharing these beautiful pieces of nuggets of wisdom with us. And I'll talk to you soon, man.
Yeah, definitely. Nice talking with you, Dave. Thank you.
Thank you. My man. Ambition matters. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man? How's everything? Long time no see.
Look, y'all, we stayed on the phone. We stayed on the system, the whatever program, after we ended the live for about another 45 minutes, right? And we talked. And after we talked, we exchanged numbers and we continued texting all the way to, I think I must have fallen asleep, 2 o'clock. I woke up and I found Would you text me at last text at 1:30 something in the morning? So my brother, of course, the guys were blessed by your message last night. Somebody DM'd me on Instagram, and of course, Tyler just referenced you. Boss at Home referenced you. So obviously, man, you're kicking asses. So what do you have for us tonight?
Well, I always love sitting back and observing. I always look at what owls do, and owls, they just look and observe, and they don't say anything, they don't do anything. So I think sometimes it's good to just step back and just listen, because sometimes when we can't see, we need to hear more. And I think that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So I would say, some of the gentlemen that came on the call, first of all, Tyler, he sounds like an older guy who's experienced a lot, and just how he was articulating his message, sounds like he's been through a lot, and that, he's got a lot of value to add. And then the callers before Tyler, I think they're a little younger. What is it called?
NB.
NB?
NB. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, NB. And then the caller before that was
Philly cheese. Philly cheese,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they both sound like younger men, and I can honestly say that I've been where they're at, and like I'm 35, and when I was in my 20s,
NB is closer to you.
Like,
NB is closer to you than Philly cheese. Philly cheese is still early 20s, and NB is closer to you. Yeah.
So I would say that the average man blows his 20s away. When we're 20 years old, we're just trying to figure this thing that we call life, and we don't have enough experience. We don't have the character and the hardships and all that stuff. All that stuff is just we're learning as we go through life, because there's no like pamphlet or manual to teach you how to be a man. So you have to make this choice. You have to make this choice to be a man, and I think a lot of that has to do with dealing with your adversity, dealing with your pain, confronting your shadow side. And a lot of us, we have a dark side and a beautiful side, the higher self, the lower self.
Right.
It's in a constant battle every day. But as we're getting older, we're getting exposed to the real world, that was hidden from us when we were younger.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that, I think every young man gets hurt. Every young man gets used. Every young man is so naive to the point where people exploit them. And, we come to the point that, hey, all that happens for a reason. Because sometimes these are nutrients for your character, right? And they're nutrients, necessary nutrients for your character. So when people are throwing dirt at you, you're growing. And that's what I would say, is that the more dirt people throw at you, the more adversity you go through in your life, the greater your character is. And to overcome these obstacles, to overcome, life's uncertainty, all of these things happen. And, sometimes we need to zoom out of life, because sometimes we think we're the only person that's going through this.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And it's so easy. It's so easy to get caught up in that we think that, why me? Poor me. No, stop saying why me? Why not me?
Why not me?
And yeah, because you get stronger. And I'll say that for the young gentlemen that probably went through their hurts and tragedies and all that stuff, they wouldn't be who they are without those things. And I think the universe, God, source, life, throws things at us to reveal our true character.
Yes. Yeah, I like that.
So I would say that, it's necessary. The things that happen to us, they happen for us. That's how I like to look at it. They don't happen to us, they happen for us. Because we will always grow. We will always grow through what we go through.
We always grow through what we go through.
That's right.
Amazing.
That's right? And
So thank you for sharing these nuggets of wisdom with us on this journey, journey to personal empowerment, on this journey to unshakable self-confidence. I mean, crazy self-empowerment. Here is a question. In terms of emotional healing, I know last night one of the points was kill what kills you, but that's not the one I want to talk about. Emotional intelligence. Yes, that's that. So that's the one I want to talk about. So in terms of emotional healing, how have you sat with your emotions? What one process, what one method you have used to heal your emotions, or at least to look at them and understand them, that has helped you on this journey?
You know, it's funny you say that. I actually write down in my journal my emotions, and I resolve it in my journal. So if let's just say, I go to work and I'm dealing with people, because I think sometimes managing people and dealing with people is a very difficult thing. Mm-hmm. When somebody says something, to push your button or whatever, you feel these emotions, and instead of bottling it up, write it on a journal. Okay, what caused this person to say this to me? How did I react? What could I have done? All of these things, so you play it in your mind, but you also write in the journal. So if you were to encounter a situation like that again, you would know how to be prepared and how to deal with it. So a lot of the times, I think a part of managing your emotions is to process it. And the best way to process it is to write it down. Because when you write it down, it's like, the emotion is coming at you. You're not bottling it up, right? When you bottle up your emotions and bottle up your emotions and bottle up your emotions, you get triggered. It's like shaking a pop can and the fizz comes out.
Interesting.
So I think a part of emotional healing is how to process the emotions.
Right.
You don't process it by bottling it up.
Right.
Process it by writing it on paper.
So So one of the methods or techniques that you use is writing it down. I know a person who does that too. My girlfriend, that's what she does. She writes her emotions down. I have done that myself, and quite frankly, when I did, I found great relief. But that's not my primary technique of emotional processing. Mine is going into the woods and spending large amount of times just being there and going over them, talking to myself, basically looking at the same emotion from different angles. And my work actually is supported by, do you know that gentleman, that author who's done a lot of work on self-esteem? Not Brendan. I'm not referring to NB, help me out here. I'm not referring to Brendan, but a doctor. He was a surgeon. And a lot of women would come to him to do not a surgeon, plastic surgeon. There we go, plastic surgeon. And he came to find out that some of the most beautiful and handsome people would come to him for a plastic surgery, when he was like, there's nothing wrong with you, but they had a low self-esteem issue. And so he went on to do some research to add to his experience, and he wrote that beautiful book, which I've read, Psycho-Cybernetics. There we go. Psycho-Cybernetics. Okay,
Psycho-Cybernetics.
There we go.
Yeah, I have that book. You're talking about Maxwell Maltz?
Maxwell Maltz, correct. Thank you. There we go. I know somebody who know it, because I'm among great minds. Psycho-Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz, correct. If somebody wants to look it up, I think Maltz is ALTZ. And he talks about, if you were to look at your emotions rationally and ask rational questions of them, by the time you do that 25 times with a certain fear, it will have lost its power over you. Because one of the things, if not the primary things that holds an emotion intact in your life, is ambiguity, confusion. right? Mystery, where I don't know how I'm feeling. I don't know why I feel this way. And of course, that's what a woman would say, right? And I'm like, well, babe, what was the last thing that happened to you? I don't know. I don't remember. Okay, well, okay, so when did you start feeling this way? I don't know. I don't remember. And so that state of confusion, that mystery perpetuates the emotion. It keeps the emotion going. And quite frankly, I've met people who don't want to look at their emotions rationally. They don't want that type of processing, because that will kill the emotions. And quite frankly, a lot of us self-hate, and we do want to remain in the negative emotions. And so that's one of the ways that primary way that I process emotions is go, like when I'm running, when I'm working out, when I go for a walk, I go in the woods, and I ask a lot of questions, different questions around the same emotion. And by the time, I don't know, it's 25 times, for example, and that emotion has lost its power, and I'm cleared, and I'm free.
It's interesting that you do that. But, I think that's another way of processing emotions, to like walk in nature, walk in the woods. And I think there's a reason why people do psychedelics in the middle of nowhere to get their own revelations and
yes.
Because you know, like, I've taken magic mushrooms before psychedelics, and I would say that it allows you to detach your emotions. It allows you to put your emotions outside of you, and just like, oh, why do I take life so seriously? You know, how come I'm getting triggered by this? You know, I mean, the fact that I'm still here breathing, you know, you're just in a very appreciative state. So I would say that sometimes that emotional roller coaster or whatever, it comes from our ego. I think our ego is attached to a lot of things. And sometimes when things are not going our way, you know, the ego likes to push our own buttons by hijacking our emotions, because the ego wants to feel relevant. So I think when you peel the onion layers, you realize that, wow, I mean, the ego is just nothing but an illusion.
Yes.
And it's just holding on to this concept of, you know, and we're doing so much damage to our own self by allowing the ego in the driver's seat. And that's why I say we always have to be aware. Who's in charge? Is it you or the ego, right? And the higher self, which is your spiritual self, your divine self, your inner child, that innocence, that's the side that you always want to be on. So there's a battle between your higher self and your lower self. And then I would say even because we talked about decisions about finances, you know, on the markets and even everyday life. One thing I learned is that when our emotions are high, our intelligence is low. So knowing that means if we don't know how to manage and process our emotions, we make bad decisions. And when we make bad decisions, what happens? It comes from panic. Speaking of that, I was reading a chapter today on The Obstacle is the Way. And I think he has a chapter about controlling your emotions. He talks about the astronauts, you know, and how the astronauts are trained not to panic.
Yes.
Because if they fail to control and manage their emotions, it can cost them their life.
Yes.
So it just shows you that if we don't have a sense of grip of this, you know, it could lead to disasters, because you know, that logic and reasoning is out the window, and that intelligence is out the window. I mean, emotions has its intelligence, but as long as it's managed and processed, now what you're doing is you're allowing logic, reasoning, and emotions, and now, you know, they're working together. But if the emotions are high, that means your intelligence is low. And that's what I always like to say is to always be mindful, be aware. And I think the most important part is just to check on yourself. Hey, how am I feeling? How am I feeling? And ask yourself questions like, okay, you know, I lost my job, or I lost all my money from my business. Whoa, slow down. Hey, am I alive? Am I going to die? Do I have a roof over my head? Yes. All of these things, right? So you don't need to panic. You just look at it from an objective view.
And I love what you're saying. You've been sharing these beautiful thoughts with us, these beautiful ideas. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. Thank you for calling. We will continue talking. We'll continue collaborating together. I can't wait to have you on again. Thank you for blessing us last night, and thank you for jumping on tonight.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Much love, man. Much love to the chat and to the gentlemen that are listening. I think we're all on the path of greatness, and eventually, the best part of our life is yet to come for all of us.
Amazing. Thank you, my brother.
No problem. Take care.
All right, man. Thank you.
I appreciate the man superpower.
Man's superpower.
The man's superpower.
Man superpower. Bless.
Man's superpower.
David, let's go. Get after your goals. Make that money today. Let's go. Man, I owe you the world right now, dude. Like, I think your services are way undervalued.
He is the most interesting man in the world.
This is a crazy ass testimony. Oh, David, let's go.
Man's superpower.
Who's next? Who's calling? Who's next? Let's go. We have about 40 minutes to go. Come on, man. Let's go. Let's do this, man. It's been beautiful. That was the fourth call. Yeah, the fourth call. Jeez. OMG. Guys, consider supporting my work. I know you love this work. I know you've been following the work. I know. You know this world operates on dollars. So support my work. I would appreciate it. There goes the Cash App right now. $ Menskindgom, MENS Kingdom. That was the original name of the channel. Menskindgom. I loved it though. But on a long streak, I got the revelation of Men's Superpower. And now Men's Superpower, it seems, is about to become Men's Superpower TV, because I've been dabbling with filmmaking. I've been learning a lot about filmmaking, and I think that's the directions that I'm going. Either Men's Superpower Productions or Men's Superpower TV. I think in the future, you can expect some what they call them, short films, 5 to 10 minute or maybe less than 5 minute films, little things that tells the same stories, but in a different way. And so it's been beautiful. So if you've been following the work, you love the work has blessed you, send a super chat or send a Cash App on to Menskindgom. We would greatly appreciate it, because it does take a little bit of cheddar to run this production, as you could imagine, or if you didn't know. So bless me on this journey. Thank you for everyone who's already sent a super chat. We're talking about NB and Ambition Matters. My brother, who always stops by, every time he stops by, he send something. I appreciate you. Tyler Glenditch. I got it right tonight, Tyler. You did spell it last night, right? Gliditch. There we go, Gliditch. And forgive me. Faith in God can transform your emotions. Call in. N floor. Why don't you call in? Call in and help us understand that. Faith in God can transform your emotions. Actually, I would love to hear the explanation behind that. I would love to hear the rationale or the actual truth supporting that claim. Yeah, why don't you call in? Why don't you call in? I actually would love. I know NB, Ambition Matters, Tyler, myself, we would love to hear your rationale or the truth behind the claim that faith in God can transform your emotions. Because so far, myself and the other three guys who have spoken on emotional healing or emotional processing have actually used scientific methods to demonstrate. We're talking about journaling, ambition matters. We're talking about rational processing. That would be for me and NB, and Tyler did make some points that's more into the rational processing of emotions. And so the claim that faith in God, and of course we don't know when you say God what you're referring to, because God is an adjective, it's a descriptive word. I hope you know God is not the name of an entity, but really an adjective, a descriptive word that we attribute that to whatever being that we want to call God. We want to name God. So we don't know if you share the same understanding or the same belief, but if you would like to come on, call the number on the screen, 470-500-7961, and talk to us. We would love to hear how, because I'm sure there is a guy in the audience maybe who has not journaled and who has not processed their emotions rationally and intellectually, and maybe that guy perhaps is more has a penchant for faith. Maybe that might help him. So if you're willing, do us a favor, call in and help us understand what that means. Last night. The Shaved Lion King. Welcome back. I appreciate you, brother. Keep up the good work, brother. Shalom. Shalom. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Your profile picture looks like Jeezy, young Jeezy, one of my favorite rappers, one of my favorite alpha males, one of my favorite strong figures. I'm saying in real life, not movies or just behind a mic or in the studio. So if you know his story, if you know how he lives. So Franklin, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you for that super chat, my brother. Thank you. We appreciate that $4.99. Keep up the good work. I'm thinking that's the message to me. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Welcome to Man's Superpower. Feel your power, bro.
Man's Superpower.
Who's calling next? We have about 30 minutes to go. We've been on for the past 2 hours. We've had 4 calls. Philly Cheese, NB, Ambition, Tyler, and Ambition Matters. All heavy hitters. Those guys are heavy hitters. I appreciated their phone calls. This is telling me that this program is a success. The Spirit did not lie when the Spirit inspired me to do a Nofap and SR live coaching call. Give the people the mic. Let them go at it. Let them talk. Because that's going to help somebody or a man from relapsing tonight. And that's going to provide tremendous value in the future to men who will find this work in the future. So Franklin, thank you. I appreciate you, my brother. Who's next? Let's go.
David, let's go. Get after your goals. Make that money today. Let's go. Man, I owe you the world right now, dude. Like, I think your services are way undervalued.
The most interesting man in the world.
This is a crazy ass testimony. Oh, David, let's go.
Man's Superpower.
If you would like to work with me one-on-one, NB is in the crowd. He's in the audience. He spoke earlier, And we worked together for about 6 months. And as you heard from him, he said having that coaching experience was like training wheels for him. After so long, he was able to just go off by himself. Just like when a father is holding a child, a boy on their bike, serving as training wheels, eventually that boy just takes off and continue riding that bike. You heard from him. If you want to work one-on-one with me, check Patreon. All of my tiers on Patreon are about one-on-one coaching. You will have contact with me. I don't create videos for Patreon. I don't put videos for Patreon because you have all the videos here. The tiers there are all one-on-one coaching opportunities where you get to talk with me, 1 call per week, and continuing texting support via text messages. And guess what? We do talk more than once a week. Once a week is what the stipulations say, but I end up talking to any of my clients more than once a week and for longer than 1 hour because I love doing the work, man. You know, this work is primarily based on my passion and the work that I have done for myself. So I do over deliver, like you heard in that spot. And that spot, actually, that was a genuine voice message from my current client. He's actually my current client right now. He's been for a few months and his life is going beautifully. He's succeeding in his music. He just got a contract with some producers in LA, and he just called me and left me this genuine, heartfelt, exciting message. I didn't ask him for that testimony. It was a regular voice message on the iPhone, iMessage app, and I was like, I'm gonna use that to put on my spot.
David, let's go. Get after your goals. Make that money today. Let's go. Man, I owe you the world right now, dude. Like, I think your services are way undervalued.
The most interesting man in the world.
This is a crazy ass testimony. Oh, David, let's go.
Man's superpower.
And so we can work one-on-one and help you understand the nuances of this work that we are engaged in. Who's calling next? Who's next? Hang on, let me get to the chat. There you go, there you go. Thank you, NB. I do, don't I? I'm crazy with it, bro. I'll text you anytime. I won't call you anytime, but I'll text you anytime. And then I'll do, what I like to do is catch you off guard with a text message to interrupt your current energy flow. And that has a psychological purpose. Because many times I've texted a guy, he's like, oh my God, I'm so glad that you text me right now. Dude, I'm in the dumps. I've been in the dumps all day. Somebody's calling. Let's see. Talk to us. Who's this? All right, so somebody is either playing or some crazy stuff is going, but that's fine. We do know that that tends to happen. Who's calling? All right, cool. So every area is going to have some sort of craziness. Yeah, so even this area too, of course. You know, in my metaphysical training, I have had one of the things that I've learned is error, just like truth, has its own admirers. There are people who admire error as much as there are people who admire truth. You understand? I'm thinking this person is actually in flaw. The person who's talking about God, some kind of God, whatever he's talking about, might be some kind of Muslim, whatnot. Anyhow, error, just like truth, has its own admirers. And so sometimes you have a hard time understanding why would somebody want to support error? Why would somebody want to promote and keep people in error? Consciously, that is, where there are reasons for that. So if you want to get with me one-on-one, do so by checking Patreon. Let's go. And so we can continue talking about emotional healing, the need to heal. And of course, we all that falls into what I call the second stage of the three crucial stages of SR. The second stage is emotional labor. I have called it emotional labor. That's where you have to labor in your emotions. You have to do the work. You have to process those emotions, be it via journaling or through faith or through rational questioning, as in the case of psycho-cybernetics. There we go. And you know what? Now, I don't know where my hard copy of that book is, because I had a hard copy, but I'm definitely sure that I have a Kindle. But I've moved so many times and I've changed libraries so many times. So I don't remember having seen that lately. But as in that case of Maxwell Maltz talks about the rational questioning of your emotions. And by the time you've done that 10, 15, 25 times, that emotion has lost its power. It's as though that emotion can no longer stand to come your way, because you have taken ambiguity out of it. You have taken mystery out of it. You have taken confusion out of it. I like to say, Ambition Matters alluded to the ego. The ego loves confusion, bro. The ego loves confusion. In fact, one of the things that keep the ego so strong in us is confusion, mystery, ambiguity. If you know anybody in your life who's always giving answers like, I don't know what's going on, I have no idea. And they don't like clarification. They don't like when you ask intellectual questions, rational questions. If you know individuals, I know individuals who will not submit to any type of rational inquiry because their ego is so strong and their ego has so much investment in the confusion, in the mystery, in the ambiguity, that they cannot risk gaining any kind of clarity, because the clarity will come with great responsibility. What is the responsibility? To fix the issue at hand, to do something about it. And quite frankly, confusion provides such a high level of dopamine rush for the individual. They live in it. They feel good in it. They talk a lot about it, because the more clarity you have, the less you talk about your problems. Have you noticed that, right? The person with the most amount of clarity in the room is not talking a lot about problems, because They have clarity. They know how to go about it. They know how to process it. They know how to find solutions and how to fix it. But the person with the biggest amount of confusion talks a lot about their problems or problems in the world. And so when you question your emotions intellectually, rationally, eventually they lose their power. And remember, those emotions stem from the subconscious mind, which is nothing but a soup of confusion. It's nothing but a seed of ambiguity. Oh, the ego loves confusion. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It loves things not being clear. Oh, my God. God forbid you date a woman with a big ego that has a big investment in confusion. Oh my God, you will hate that experience. That's a woman who never wants to answer any question directly. She doesn't submit to no clear probing. Everything is, I don't know. I don't remember. I'm not thinking about it. When did I say that? I don't remember saying that. I don't remember seeing that. I don't remember agreeing to that. What are you talking about? Oh, really? That's how you feel? No, baby. Say something clear to me. I don't wish that experience for you. I've been through it. In fact, 95% of women are like that. I'm borrowing that number from Immortal Minds, the 95%er. The 95%er is like that. She's confused. She doesn't want to process her emotions. Hell no. And here you are dating her. And if you are an irrational male, if you are an intellectual man who likes clarity, you're in trouble. Because most of her answers, for example, right? You're like, would you like some water? Yes. Cold or room temperature? No, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I gave you options, cold or room temperature. It may not matter to you for real which one you drink, but you have to pick one from me. I have to know which one to give you because I gave you options. If you have people like that in your life, better pay attention because they waste a lot of your time. Those are the individuals who tend to get you emotionally pent up. They know exactly what button to push in you to get you angry, because people who process things intellectually and rationally tend to get angry at individuals who love to keep the confusion and the ambiguity going. I just set a man free right now. I just gave a man a clue to a dating situation. I just opened a man's eyes to whatever he's going through right now with a woman in his life, be it his mother, his girlfriend, anybody else, or even at work. They love to stay in the confusing state. So be careful. What's up, NB? Yes, I know. We've talked. Yeah, I was thinking about you too as I was talking, because I know we've talked a lot on these issues. We've talked a lot on these issues. I know. Somebody's saying salute to somebody else. And so, see, the third stage on this SR journey is nirvana. I call it nirvana. I call it the place of rest, the place of peace, the place where you get to know yourself, the place where you now are empowered. you become dynamic, you become magnetic, you become attractive. And I'm not referring to physical, well, I mean, that happens too, physical features, but I'm saying intellectually, psychologically, and emotionally. It's a certain way you move about the places. It's a certain way you talk. It's a certain way you behave. It's a certain way you go about this life that put people in awe of you. They don't understand how you move in the gym. You ain't got the biggest muscles. Matter of fact, you ain't got no muscles at all. But they can understand that you do the hardest exercises. They don't understand that this man is doing walking lunges. Nobody's doing walking lunges in the damn gym because it's hard. Why is this man the only man doing walking lunges here? Because he has the energy. He comes in, he does the hardest exercises. It doesn't matter if he's muscular or not. And they're looking at him like, I don't understand. This guy, bro, what's wrong with you? And so it's a certain way. Look, man, when you least expect it, a woman says hi. When you least expect it, somebody is in your line of sight. And it does come with its hate. Although the hate might be quiet. Somebody kind of like becomes, remember, a hater is an undeclared or a weak admirer, right? An admirer who doesn't have the courage to express the love of you. I have to tell you, bro, you have to do this work so you can get to nirvana. You have to do this work so you can get to stage 3, because there is so tremendous amount of power to leverage in this stage. I'm telling you, there is tremendous power. It's even unfair. It's unfair that people in your life used to know you as an emotional man. People in your life used to know you as an emotional wreck. They knew exactly which button to press to get you going into the path of self-destruction. Suddenly, within 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you're a different man. What happened? I've been told, you don't care for me no more. You don't love me no more. You're not my friend no more. But I still am, though. I'm still that person's friend. I still love that person. I still care for that person. But my behavior has changed. I'm stronger now. Dealing with that person or those people no longer get to me. They don't put me to flight no more. I'm more stable. I don't pay attention to unnecessary things no more. I'm more focused on my purpose. I'm more focused on touching men's lives. I'm more focused on learning things that make me feel better and that increases my value in the world. I'm more focused on those things. And suddenly, those individuals feel as though they have lost something. And the way they try to put me onto a guilt trip is by saying something along that line. Nah, you're not the same no more. You don't love me no more. You don't care for me no more. I just smile. Yes, I do. And I leave it at that. I leave it at that. It's an unfair advantage. The amount of personal power you get to display on this journey. I am a man who used to crawl on my belly, begging at a woman's feet to sleep with me. I mean, in a relationship, not outside of a relationship. To talk to me. I would call the phone 25 times in a row because she didn't pick up the first time. Bam, bam, bam. I would send 25 texts until I get a reply. What's wrong with you? You crazy, you effing this and that. I felt better. At least I got an answer. That's destroying myself. That's making myself ugly. That's hating myself. I used to be that man. If you know anything about that kind of life, which you do, you're not living a purposeful life. You're not living a purpose-driven life. You're attending to all kind of peripherals, all kind of tangents. Your attention is being pulled in any different direction. Somebody sneezed. Who sneezed? But now, you could actually hear. You know the crackling sound of fire? You can actually hear the crackling sound of fire, meaning that there's fire around you, meaning that the place is burning down, but you're still focused. You can actually smell plastic burning, wood burning, like it means that there's fire around you, but you're still focused. This is the promised land. This is what's waiting for you. This is the mastery of your destiny. This is nirvana. This is the flow state. This is what's waiting for you. My brother, take time to process your emotions. Take time to sit with your emotions. And before you know it, they will fly away. They will disappear. And of course, it's not that they have disappeared, but you have converted the energy from negativity to positivity. You have transferred the energy, because we can only transfer energy. We can only transmute energy. We can't destroy energy. And so you have done transmutation. You have done a chemical process where you transfer energy from one state to the next. Sadness to happiness to joyful. Lethargy to enthusiasm. That Ambition Matters talked about last night. The power of enthusiasm. That was his first point. That's how important enthusiasm is. And we said that enthusiasm accounts for 80% of success because it attracts people. It's beautiful. It makes you light up when you show up in a place. People feel compelled to do business with you and to respect you and to serve you. My brother, take it from me. Take it from me. The reason I have this platform, the reason I'm the one behind the mic and behind the camera is because I've had it the worst. The reason I am the one with this level of passion is because I've had it the worst. You don't know the pain that I've experienced. Even words cannot express it. I've tried to convey it in words, but as you know, human language is very limited. Language is a tool that we have invented, and it does not do justice to our emotions. It does not do justice to the way we feel. There are certain ways you feel you cannot. In fact, the biggest emotions cannot be expressed. The biggest truths cannot be expressed. The biggest piece of understanding you get or revelation you get cannot be expressed in language. Language is very limited. But let the fact that I'm here, let the fact that I'm inspiring you, let the fact that I'm taking my time to demonstrate to you, let the fact that I'm taking my time to give you pieces of information to help you on the journey, let that fact demonstrate to you how much I suffered, how much I've gone through, how far I've traveled. Then you will find an encouragement for you, for yourself. Let's see what's being said in the chat. A person who hasn't gone through in life cannot inspire anyone. That is correct.
I appreciate the man's superpower.
Man's superpower.
The man's superpower.
Man's superpower, bless.
Man's superpower.
Yes. Yes. I like this reminder. David, and he was king even when he was in the field caring for his father's Jesse sheep. He was still king because the king is an internal state because he was a servant in the field tending the sheep. But he was irrelevant to the people until he overcame Goliath, until he demonstrated the skills he has learned. And he said it. He have fought lions. He has torn their jaws open. Imagine that. And of course, you know, the Bible is a mythical book. Don't tell nobody. and I have a bachelor in practical theology. So lions represent strength, power, and that could be both positive and negative. As in Daniel's being put in a den of lions. What do you think that represents? That's not a den of strength, but it's a den of the most powerful emotions and the most tormenting thoughts. Daniel was put in a den of lions, a stronghold of thoughts, and he overcame. And so he's saying David was irrelevant until he overcame Goliath. Find your Goliath. Man, I should end on this note here. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And B is saying your attention is the fire that transmute those emotions. Your attention. I always say, I said it last night actually. On the last night I said, attention is the lifeblood of manifestation. Listen to me. This is from ancient esoteric teaching. Attention, the ability to focus your presence, because that's what attention is. Your attention is your mindful presence right now, being able to focus that on one item, on one focal point. Be it your emotions, be it a creative process, attention is the lifeblood of manifestation. And I also love to say, he who has you, or he who has your attention has you. Because you are nothing but attention. What else are you besides your attention? You are nothing but attention, which is focused presence. He who has your attention has you. He who doesn't have your attention has no mastery over you. This is why, come here. This is why when you remove your attention from women, suddenly all hell breaks loose. Because women are accustomed to unfair and undue amount of attention. So the man on SR, the man who has found himself, has removed that undue and undeserved attention from her. And suddenly, she's plotting all sorts of emotional tantrums to get that attention back. Because he or she, whoever has your attention, has you. Whoever holds your attention has mastery over you. Whoever holds your attention is brainwashing you. Could be positive, as in this case of me right now. I'm holding your attention, so I'm brainwashing you. But I'm brainwashing you positively. I'm rewiring your brain right now. I hope you understand it at this level of depth. I'm brainwashing you right now. I'm rewiring your brain, but to be stronger, to be more powerful. So be careful who you give your attention to, my brother. We should end right here. I think this is a beautiful note to end. NB's last comment. Yes, your attention is the fire that transmutes those emotions. My brothers, you are king. Stay in your kingdom. Remember, the promised land is waiting for you, to the place where you have processed your emotions. You will be free. Take it from me. Take it from NB. Take it from Ambition Matters. Take it from Tyler. And I'll see you next time. Yes. Thank you for... This is the second conversation, the second mention of a book to me today. Ambition Matters. Ambition Matters sent me a link to a publishing company that makes it easy to publish a book. And he's like, you are due for a book. That was his exact statement, verbatim. You are due for a book. Here's a link. Go to that website. They help you to get your book written right on the website and to publish it. That was maybe 45 minutes before the scheduled live. And here is Majestic Shakur. Oh, by the way, Ambition Matters, one of Ambition Matters' name is Shakur. And he's also a Gemini. So he shares two things with Tupac Shakur. Gemini, intelligence, beautiful. So this is not coincidence. Majestic Shakur is telling me to write a book. Another man with Shakur in his name told me about 2 or 3 hours ago to write a book. More importantly, he sent me a link. And he said, "You're due for a book." Look, man, I'm overdue for a book. But here's what I want to tell you. It's not excuse. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's not an excuse. You're going to hear it. The truth is, I'm also on the same journey. I'm also learning to produce at higher levels. I'm coming from the same self-destruction. So I'm still learning to go through my to-do list. I'm still learning to schedule ahead of time. This week was the first week that I scheduled both of my lives ahead of time, at least 2 days ahead of time. I've been live streaming for 7 months. This is the first time I did my thumbnails. I did all my graphics and scheduled both lives last night and tonight ahead of time. It's a victory. It's a victory for me because I was so deep into lethargy. I was so deep into laziness. I was so deep into confusion. I was so deep into the time has slipped away. I don't know what happened today. So we've been coming out of that. Yes, it's been 2 years. I've been producing, I've been coaching, but I myself also am coming out of the same states. And so in my mind, sometimes I'm like, man, you mean to tell me you don't even have one book out there? Like one, at least one? Yeah, I don't. And it hurts. And it's good that it hurts. Because I'm honest with myself. In my self-evaluation, I'm like, man, bro, you're 41. The best part of your life, well, it's not the best, but a good chunk of your life went to that self-destructive habit. But right now, I'm on a redemption road. And I've been redeeming myself. And so, being able to have scheduled dates for these lives, being able to do these things, being able to do my coaching calls on time, that's another thing too. Subsequent calls can be on time, but there's one particular call, the first call of the day of the week, has a specific day and time, week in and week out. And there were days when I first started, I would run late. You know, like I would text the client and be like, yo, man, you know, I'm behind. I need 30 minutes. I need an hour. And B, I can testify to that. And Sawyer, the voice that you heard in that spot can testify to that. But I've been on time lately. And so I myself am in the same development. And I'm saying that because that's one of the ways that I forgive myself. But I am overdue for a book. So Majestic Shakur, thank you for that comment. And Ambition Matters, Shakur, thank you for that link. And thank you for that statement that I am due for a book. Thank you, everybody. Tonight was intense. There was no downtime tonight. We had 4 calls until somebody decided to mess with our system. No problem. We'll continue. We'll just ban the person because usually they'll show themselves. There's some kind of religious zealot, lost man in the world. But we forgive you. But go back into darkness. We are here Remember, you are king. Stay in your kingdom. If you want to work with me one-on-one, check Patreon in the description box. And we can work one-on-one and you'll be blessed. Subscribe to our channel. I am David. Feel your power. I've got the power. Hughes. And those are nicknames that you guys have given me. Subscribe to our channel. And until next time, remember,
I appreciate the man's superpower.
Man's superpower.
The man's superpower.
Man's superpower. Bless.
Man's superpower.
you are on Men's Superpower, a channel dedicated to masculine empowerment via the practice of Nofap and life force conservation. In the future, we will diversify our teachings. We will get into metaphysics, we'll get into spirituality, more self-development. I just wanted to build a strong foundation of SR. I wanted to put all of my understanding and ideas and concepts into lives and video formats. I think I've done that. I think I have about 165 videos for a year and a half so far. I think now we can diversify into other topics, into areas of expertise using Nofap and SR as the foundation. You are king, stay in your kingdom. Remember this. You are on the right path. You are on the right journey. The journey of self-discovery, the journey of self-love, the journey